Hey, what is it? Be sexy beasts. GhostSickness with Tristan here, and I'm bringing you guys a story talking about a party that I went to about a week ago. No, I'm just kidding. It was actually a month ago. Anyway, I'm gonna be telling you guys a party that happened the day after I didn't go to the party the night before. So Friday night, like I said, I told a story about going to a party. And we didn't get in, so the next night I'm like, fuck, well, I kind of want to go to another one to get, this is like pretty much my last chance. So I wanted to go party a little bit more before I turned 18, and now that I'm 18, I still would like to party, but not as often as I wanted to. But anyway, so we didn't go to one the night before. As I said, I'll link that story in the description below. It's absolutely hilarious, and yeah, so anyway, so I felt a little party lacking, and so I'm like, okay, well, my friend hits me up, and so he's like, hey, bro, do you want to go to a party tonight? And it was pretty late, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, sure. So I asked my other friend, and he's like, nah, man, just go, or whatever. So I found out it was really close to my house. So I told my dad, I'm like, hey, Dad, can I go to this party? It's pretty close to my house, and we'll walk back and everything so I don't drive while being drunk or high or anything like that, so that I don't drive under the influence. Very, very bad, guys. If you do decide to go to parties, please do not drive under the influence. My God. Anyway, so I tell my dad that, and he's like, okay, well, just be safe, whatever, blah, 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 and walk home and, hope everything's good, right? Just be safe. Anyway, so I'm like, okay. Told him the address, as always. And so I go pick up my friend, and I'm trying to find the party, right? So we go and we get the address and everything like that, and we're going, and it's really close to my house, actually, like within walking distance. That's why I ended up thinking it was a great idea, because I didn't want to go to one where we had to drive back or whatever, because we didn't have a designated driver. If you guys don't know what a designated driver is, basically they're the person who goes to a party or something like that and doesn't drink or anything so that they can drive you home safely. So anyway, my friend and I are like, okay, cool. Well, I pick him up. We're trying to find the address, so we park on a street, and we see some other cars, and we're like, okay, well, I don't see a lot of lights on. It doesn't look like there's a party here, and we should have been smarter. Looking at the address, it was dumb. It was really dumb. We were being stupid just based on the amount of digits in the address. So anyway, we're going around, and we try to find it. We park up on this hill or whatever, and we're looking for it, and we're like, okay, don't see it. We see a car, like, looking for it as well, because you see them, like, park, and then, like, look around, and then, like, turn around, and then go down the street. So we kind of head that way. We go up this hill into, like, this cul-de-sac and try looking again, right? It's fucking dark outside, guys. I don't know. I think it's, 10, 11, something like that, and it's pretty late. So it's pretty dark outside, and we're looking around, kind of wandering around, trying to find where a bunch of cars are parked and where we think the party is. So we're going, and then we finally look at the address again, and we're like, okay, well, Google Maps isn't working properly, so we're just going to have to do this, on foot. So we go back to the start of the street. We're like, okay, the party has to be on this street. Okay, good. We know that. We know that's a fact, and we weren't sure if we got the right address at first, actually. So we're going around, looking around, and we're like, oh my God, it must be an apartment. So we go and we park in the apartment complex, and we go looking around for it, and we find the address like almost immediately. It's pretty much just behind my car. So we see somebody outside smoking a cigarette, and it's somebody that my friend knew. And so we're like, okay, cool. Well, he starts saying hello, what's going on? So I'm just kind of standing there silently, and we walk into the apartment where the party's going on. You see some people leaving, the doors kind of open a little bit. So we go in, and the room is just filled with smoke, like cigarette smoke, weed smoke, hookah, whatever, and it's just filled with smoke. It's actually pretty funny. Not like too bad, but you could definitely see that there was smoke in the room from inside of it. So anyway, we go inside, and we're just chilling. He's talking to people that he knows. I don't really know a lot of people there. I actually knew a few, like 2 or 3 basically, but they were all adults and stuff like that. So we're talking to some people, and there's this one guy, and he's like, hey, bro, how old are you guys? And we both say 18. I wasn't actually 18 at the time, and neither was he, but we just said we're 18 because I was really close. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, we're both 18, just hanging out, just chilling, whatever. He's like, cool. And so he wasn't the owner of the house or whatever. So we're just chilling, hanging out, and people are drinking beers. People are smoking weed. People are drinking a little bit of, God, was it tequila? I'm pretty sure it was tequila. No, I don't know. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was tequila. We're just going to go with that. I don't actually remember what it was. But anyway, so people are drinking tequila and just hanging out, having a good time from like a bottle. and they would chase it down with orange juice, and that was the chaser. So we had a little bit of that. We asked some people for it, and so they gave us some, and I had it without the chaser. My friend did. I mean, I could add it with the chaser. I wasn't doing it to like be a badass or anything, but I just had a little swig of tequila or whatever it was, and we just kind of go around by this table, and there's quite a bit of people here. Sorry, I didn't make that clear. There's about 15, 20 people here. It's pretty small. It's an apartment, right? But it was decent size. It's not as big as some other parties that I've seen. That's a different story for a different day. Now, anyway, we're just kind of chilling there, having a little bit to drink, not much, hanging out, talking to people, and I'm just sitting there awkwardly most of the time. Like, I'm like, yeah, well, I don't know a lot of you people, so I'm just going to kind of do my best and, try to get along and everything like that. So we're just chilling, and there's some people, there's some girls, and the ratio of guys to girls was absolutely atrocious. There was like 5 or 6 girls, and like 15 guys. Like, it was really, really bad. Sausage fest-like, but it was pretty cool just to hang out. Anyway, we're just hanging out, having a little bit to drink, looking, and people are passing around weed, people are passing around everything. We didn't get any yet, and so they pass around. They have Four Loko. Four Loko is basically an energy drink and alcohol. I don't know if you guys know what Four Loko is, but that's what it is. And they pass it around, and they ended up mixing it with tequila, so it was like extra alcohol. Like, it was pretty bad, but it tasted meh. It didn't really taste that great. I had some of that a few times, and so I'm not really feeling anything right now. People are passing around hookah pens, trying those out. Those are good. I actually have one of my own, but it's pretty cool. They were passing around like a hookah pen. It vaped very, very well. It got a lot of smoke, but no nicotine. I'm not really a big fan of nicotine, actually. It's not really my thing. Nicotine's what's in cigarettes, guys, if you didn't know. So we're just chilling, hanging out. Nothing much is really happening. Nothing too exciting. It's funny. We had a lot more fun outside of the party than we did inside the party. I'll get into that in a second. But we're hanging out there, just chilling, not really doing anything, going around. And like a little bit later, we talked to some girls, had a little bit of beer, drank a little bit more, and smoked a little weed. It was really not that crazy, not that intense. And then eventually, some people start going outside. I'm like, sweet, finally get a breath of air, because like I said, the whole room was filled with smoke. So I'm like, okay, well, some people are going outside. This sounds like a good idea. And then once we get outside, we eventually learn that the party was done. Like, everybody was done with the party, and then they're like, okay, well, the owner says you got to go home. So we're like, okay, well, whatever. So I was pretty messed up at this point. I wasn't like that bad. We'd only been there like, oh man, half an hour? 40 minutes? Like, I don't even know how long we were there, but it really wasn't that long. It definitely wasn't longer than an hour. We really weren't there for a long time. So we get outside, and I'm feeling, not really good enough to drive, and it's really not that far of a drive. But guys, please do not drive drunk or intoxicated or whatever. But so we're like, okay, well, these other people are going to some other party, and I did not feel good to drive. So we're like, okay, let's just go home, and everything will be good. So my friend and I start walking home, and he is just freaking dying laughing. Like, we're pretty done. Like, he is more drunk than I was at the point, but then later, as I absorbed all the alcohol, I got, a little bit more drunk. I probably had 4 or 5 shots worth. I don't really know. I had a decent amount of the Four Loko tequila mix or whatever it was, and then I had some tequila solo, and then I had a little tiny bit of beer, and just like a few puffs of weed. Like, it wasn't really too intense. But anyway, people are trying to sell menthols, or not sell them, but give them away, and nobody liked menthols, so we're just like, no, oh god, gross. Anyway, so we're starting to walk home, and people are driving off in their cars or whatever, and we thought people were going to race, but no, they weren't going to race. It was pretty lame. They're just waiting for each other. So he ends up taking a piss like in the woods, like really nearby. There's a small like wooded area right by where I live, and so he ended up taking a piss there. Anyway, so after that, we start walking home. We're pretty good. We're almost done. And this is where it gets funny and kind of scary at the same time. So there's a cop that lives in my neighborhood, right? He kind of has his car parked at the very top of the hill, patrolling outwards. I don't know if you guys remember the story where I talked about my brother being pulled over, but it was that cop at that part of the hill in my neighborhood, right? So anyway, we're chilling there, and we're walking home into my neighborhood, and I see the headlights on, right? And so cops in Oregon legally have to have their headlights on if it's dark. They can't just sit in the dark and wait for you to catch you speeding and then pull you over. No, they can't do that here. They have to have their headlights on. So I see a car parked right where he parks, just actually a little bit in front of where he parks. And it has his headlights on, and that's all you can see, just glaring headlights. So my friend and I are going on about being like wasted or whatever, talking about Taco Bell and McDonald's and food and stuff like that. Just going on and on. And I fear that this is the cop. I'm like, oh shit, if he catches us drunk, walking around, stumbling and shit, then he is gonna, oh no, this is gonna be very, very bad. So we're walking and we're going, I'm like, dude, just be quiet, just, it's chill, because he might have his, window open or whatever, and he's watching us. So we just keep walking, and we keep walking. I'm kind of panicking a little bit, holding my breath, and we end up getting, so when you're like looking at a car's headlights and it's dark, you can't actually see what the car is. And then we get past the car, and I still thought it was the cop, right? I'm still going, walking along, thinking it was the cop, and then I turn around, and it was a van, and I'm like, oh, thank God, it wasn't the cop, and I have this, like, huge sigh of relief, and he starts cracking up, and I start laughing, and everything's chill. So I'm like, oh, thank God. Well, that was ridiculous. So we end up going inside, and we're like, okay, well, we end up getting to my house, and no, we don't go inside. We end up going to my house. It's pretty cold outside, but it's not bad. Like, we have jackets on, and it's all good. So we're sitting on my porch. I don't know why we decided to sit outside, but we just didn't decide to go inside. I don't know why. We just wanted to chill outside for a little bit, I guess, get some fresh air, right? Because, oh my God, all that smoke in the building was pretty ridiculous. Anyway, I'm surprised the cops didn't get called. They're like blasting loud music, and there's a lot of people in one house, and people are smoking. And remember, I left my car at the apartment complex, in the apartment complex parking lot. Now, that'll play into effect a little bit later. So we're chilling, hanging out on the front, on my porch or whatever. Just sitting there, nothing crazy's happening. We're chewing a little bit of gum, and he ends up like spitting his gum out, right? Just like on the ground. And so I'm like, oh my God. So I take my gum wrapper and I kind of wrap it up. And he ends up doing it again, and we're just joking about, having sex with girls and stuff like that. Like, I've never done that, but he was talking about it, and we were just joking about it, having a good time. And he ends up doing it again. I'm like, motherfucker, I will, like, shove this on your face if you do this again. And so I was just giving him shit. And so I end up putting the gum in, like, my gum wrap. It was really random and just pretty funny. So after about, literally, we sat outside for, like, 45 minutes to an hour, probably longer than we were in the fucking party, which I find hilarious. So a little bit after that, it's pretty late in the morning, probably 1 a.m., I want to say, 1 a.m. We end up going inside. So we go inside the house, and we're just chilling, talking about whatever. And, I'm feeling pretty good at this point. I'm feeling pretty drunk. But right when I got inside, like, that's when all of it was absorbed. Like, I was, like, totally done. I was like, oh, my God, dude, I'm drunk. I feel amazing. This is great. So we're going around, and what we did one time, I think it was like one time we smoked weed or something. We ended up making brownies. So it was tradition, right? My friend and I were like, okay, well, man, let's make brownies. We have brownie mix. It's like triple fudge or whatever, or triple chocolate. So we're like, okay, well, let's make brownies. So he didn't fucking help me out. So it's like 1:30 in the morning or whatever, and I'm making brownies in my house, and I'm making kind of a mess, like spilling some of the mix. But it was pretty simple. It's just like mix some water and like 2 eggs or whatever. So I end up making that and just talking to him. He's just kind of chilling on his phone, talking, and we're just making jokes, laughing. I can't really tell you what most of the jokes are about because they were, only relevant to that time. And oh no, I texted my ex, and oh no, and asked her if she wanted to like lose her virginity to me. Oh, very, very bad idea. But it was pretty funny at the night, and this is while we were outside, and I ended up asking him. Well, I texted her outside and inside. I ended up telling him, like, hey, look, bro. And we made, like, a voice memo recording where it's like, hey, look, if I fuck this girl, then I'll owe you $20 or whatever. And so, no, I'm not going to have sex with her. But, oh, my God, I cannot believe I said that on recording. But anyway, I won't owe him $20, so I win. So we're doing that. I'm making brownies. It's pretty messy. And we're, I'm still texting her. He's still doing whatever on his phone. And then I put the brownies in the oven. Now, as I'm putting the brownies in the oven, God, like the racks were so close together that I ended up burning my thumb a little bit, right? And then I'm putting it back, I'm still trying to push it in there, and I end up burning my thumb again because I'm like, because I'm pretty drunk at this point. But it wasn't like super, like I was still functional. I wasn't like falling over or anything. But anyway, so I put it in there and I burned my thumb again. And so I burned it like twice. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever. I should have used oven mitts to put the damn thing in. And so I did. Just push it in a little bit more because it was in between these two racks that were like 3 or 4 inches apart. I'm like, fuck, barely get the pan in there. So anyway, that was pretty stupid of me. So start baking the brownies. Everything's all good. Now, a little bit after this, my friend didn't feel well. Like he just didn't feel well. And so he goes over to the trash can, and I thought he was going to puke. Like I remember we like punched each other also just because he kept spitting out the gum. I remember I like punched him in the shoulder. And then a little bit later, he was he was doing something, just giving me shit, so I punched him in the stomach. And then a little bit later, he punches me in the stomach, so I'm like, ah, fuck, man, that really hurt. He actually knocked the wind out of me. It was like stomach, kind of like upper, near my sternum, but mostly my stomach. Anyway, it hurt pretty bad. And he ended up knocking the wind out of me, so I'm like, you know, I don't know if you guys have ever had the wind knocked out of you, but it's pretty fucking funny. So we do that, and then he doesn't feel well. Like, we haven't even made the brownies yet. He hasn't even tried any yet. I'm eating a little bit of the brownie batter. Oh, it's so good. So fucking good. And he's chilling there. So he goes over to the trash can. He is not feeling well. I really wanted him to do this in the sink, but he didn't. And he ends up puking like once or twice in the trash can. I'm like, oh, God, no. And so a little bit after that, like, he's like, oh, God, bro, I don't feel well. He left his phone, and he ends up going to the bathroom. Now, he was literally in the bathroom for an hour because the brownies took like 20 minutes to 40 minutes. I don't even remember, like 30 minutes to bake. And I'm just sitting on the couch on my phone, just chilling, having a great time. He's in the bathroom for literally an hour. I think he like took a nap in there or something, but he was really not feeling well after he puked and had to go to the bathroom or whatever. So I ended up taking out the trash. I'm like, okay, well, we're not going to have this puke rotting for my parents. I'm just going to take out the trash and it'll all be good. And so brownies come out. I take them out fine. God, I didn't fucking burn myself this time. God, never bake brownies when you're drunk, guys. Never do it. And I was just chilling on my phone. The girl went to sleep. He came out of the bathroom and we basically just went to bed. And I took him home in the morning. Now, this is where it's funny. Because, like I said, I parked in the apartment complex, right? People there have reserved... People in the parking complex for the... People who park for their apartments in the apartment complex, God, I couldn't get that right, have reserved parking, right? So I parked in one of their spots, and the other people parked on the side street. Being a fucking idiot. So I end up going to pick up my car. My friend and I end up walking there in the morning, feeling okay, have a little bit of a hangover, but feeling okay. I'm pretty sure I took some aspirin and drank some water or whatever. I actually had work that day, which sucked, but it was okay. Oh, I think work wasn't that bad, but going to work with a hangover did suck a little bit. It wasn't the worst hangover, but it was a hangover. So anyway, this was actually the guy I got drunk with my very first time, and it was his first time as well. Back when I was like 15, I have that story on YouTube as well, which is my first time drinking. Anyway, so we're going to pick up my car. We get to the apartment complex, and as I feared and as I kind of talked about with my parents, they have reserved spots. And so there's a letter on my car written in pen or something on a piece of paper, and it said, hey, you're in my spot. I live in this apartment or whatever, and could you please not park in my spot? Next time I'll have your car towed. And so I'm like, oh shit, you know, thanks so much for not having my car towed, and everything was all good. And they're like, hey, I'm not trying to be the bad guy. I just, you know, this is my spot or whatever. So I'm like, okay, I totally respect that. I didn't actually talk to this person, but I'm like, okay, read the note, kind of laughed a little bit, got my car, ended up taking my friend home. So take my friend home, and that was pretty much it. Then I went to school. I really hope you guys enjoy this story. Do not forget to smash that like button. Remember the fact that I fucking love you guys. If you're gonna get drunk at a party, which I kind of don't recommend, but yeah, I mean, you can do it. Just be responsible about it. Please do not drive drunk. I fucking love you guys. I want you to stay alive. Remember the fact that I love you. Again, bye.